All right, we're gonna finish out the show today with our top three candidates as of today, January. What's today? 15th. 15th.
Yeah.
Uh, for Coach of the Year, National Coach of the Year, and we each came up with our top three. And I'm going to start, and I've kind of been out there publicly saying this. Um, my clubhouse leader as of today is Bruce Pearl. I didn't have Auburn anywhere
Yeah.
near the preseason top 25. And right now,
Yep.
you're
No,
talking
that's
about
that's
a
good.
team that could win the SEC. They're right there with Kentucky, with Tennessee in the conversation. They go to Arkansas. They hand, think about this. They handed Arkansas their worst loss in the history of Bud Walton Arena, like the worst ever. And this Auburn team isn't like overwhelming. In fact, I'm not sure they have an NBA player on their entire roster. And look at what Bruce Pearl's done. And I always, these are always like out kicking your coverage too, in a sense of like overachieving to
Yeah,
their.
like who's done the best
Right.
job? Not like,
We're not choosing Matt
probably Purdue is probably not going to be in there because they're supposed to be good,
early,
is how you're
right?
looking at it. Right.
So I'll start with Bruce Pearl as my favorite today to win Coach of the Year. Who's your favorite if you had to pick one right now?
I mean, he would be up there. I think out of my three that I was going to say, I would say Greg Gard is probably the in the mix
Yeah,
for that award,
done
like
a great job.
heavily.
Yep.
Just the fact that the NIT kind of propelled them last year, and they bring their core back, and their core is good, but the pieces they've put around, like Chucky Hepburn, Stephen Crowell, Tyler Wall, AJ Storr is a huge get for them. They have not had an athlete like him with his size since probably Alonzo Tucker, and he's not as good as Alonzo Tucker because not many are. But really like his game. John Blackwell is definitely making the all freshman team. He has been awesome. The fact that Connor Esigian like doesn't play
He's
and he
playing a
was on
little
the all
bit now,
freshman
right?
team last year. He's getting,
Playing a
I
little
mean, he
bit.
had 12 points against, who's that
Is it?
against?
Do
He had
you
12
feel
points
like
against,
it's
I think,
because
Nebraska.
he hasn't guarded, or do
Yeah,
you?
that's why he was injured early, and then his defense, I think he's gotten beat out by some of those other guys. Max Klesmit has been awesome the last couple of games. He's been their defender, but kind of dominated the game at Ohio State, and I think he played pretty good yesterday as well against Northwestern. So Greg Gard has done a really good job offensively. They can really score. They've gotten more on the offensive glass this year than I've ever remembered from Wisconsin, something that they never do. But they could, I mean, they put themselves in a position to win the Big Ten. They're 5-0 and have a pretty big lead over the other contending teams. So I'll go Greg Gard is the three that I'm going to say is the favorite.
I'll go next. Penny Hardaway.
Yeah,
Um,
he definitely should be in there.
has done a great job this year. And again, the roster construction was huge, right? Getting these older guys late, right? I mean, like in May, you were looking at them like, they may really.
But think about it, also with Mikey Williams situation, you're like, man, well, he's not playing. That's
Yeah. And then Jordan Brown, their other top transfer get, one of them hasn't. He's been stepping away from the team, and we don't know exactly what's going on there. But
yeah.
Quinterly, they get Quinterly late when he leaves Alabama. I think it was probably like June. Then they
Mhm.
get David Jones. Shit, that might have been July, and he's
Yeah.
been All
What a
American.
get that was.
And then they
No
just get
doubt.
Quan Tomlin a couple weeks ago. And you know who
Yep.
the key figure in getting all those dudes was?
Oh,
Slick Rick Stansberry.
really?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, it was the best hire of the offseason.
Oh, he's an assistant there. He's an assistant there now.
Correct.
Yeah.
That might have been. I mean, it's the best assistant hire. I've always said this. Like, listen, I joke about Slick Rick, but man, that dude, you don't want to
These
mess with. Slick.
players.
You
You
don't
don't,
want
you
to
don't
mess
want to get into a recruiting battle with him,
with,
right?
whether it's in the NIL era, whether it was 20 years ago. Um,
He
it
wins
doesn't
those.
matter. That dude can get it done. And Penny has done a great job again with that hire, with getting
Yeah.
those dudes and then getting them to play together. Because again, like you said, there's been some drama off the court with Mikey Williams, with Jordan Brown.
Yeah.
He's found a way to keep that group together. And again, age, he understands now. Like we got to be old. We got to be
Yeah.
old, and the pieces have fit together. So
Well, it
Penny,
helps when that one of your old players is giving you like 30 on any given night too,
yeah,
because
yep,
Jones has been awesome. My second pick, I'm going to go Mark Pope at
yeah,
BYU. Didn't make the tournament, didn't play in the postseason last year. First year in the Big 12, they're 13-3. They shoot it, they play fast. This could change because the Big 12 could beat them down. You know, they're off to I think they're 1-2. But still, to see the way that they have beaten other, you know, like they beat Arizona State, beat NC State, um, beat San Diego State. That was a really good win for them in the non-conference. Will be interesting to see going forward what they are, but he has done a great job at BYU.
My last one, a little bit different, a little bit out there. Danny Sprinkle was hired this past offseason from Montana State, where he took him to the NCAA tournament. Goes to Utah State. Like a lot of other new coaches, his team's gutted by the portal. He loses everybody. He returns 0 points, zero, of players that actually scored at Utah State last season. Everybody gone. He brings two dudes with him from Montana State. Great Osobor, great name. Darius Brown, the third. And they're a great big man point guard duo. Adds Ian Martinez, who you remember, didn't do much at Maryland. He's been really,
He
really,
showed some. He was actually a good player for them off the bench last year, but I know he's been really good this season.
really good. He had 24 over the weekend, and they have the nation's longest winning streak. I think at 15 games, they've only one loss this whole year. And again, I'll put Utah State. Their metrics are ridiculous right now. They're a lock for the NCAA tournament as of today. I will put Danny Sprinkle up there absolutely in the mix.
Yeah. I was gonna go Penny, but you have stolen him. So I'll go Nico Medved. I think that last year was so injury riddled and disappointing for them. Isaiah Stevens has been awesome. They're certainly a factor in the Mountain West. But they've gotten back to being like in the NCAA tournament discussion, and I think that he's done a great job in Fort Collins. So there certainly helps when you got a guard like Isaiah Stevens because he is a beast.
Yeah.
But good to see them bounce back after a year last year where expectations were high and they went 15-8, 18, and they had all those injuries. But so far they've gotten off to a much better start.